I'm here to announce, on behalf of my family, that we have achieved the resolution of the parties' complaints and proceedings. I wish to make clear that no financial benefit or financial compensation or financial benefit was sought or received either by myself or my family. Through a process of mediation and VCAT, the parties have worked towards an appropriate outcome that recognise the important principle of removing racial and religious vilification from our community. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Terry Moore wishes to express his regret, specifically to Menachem Vorchheimer and his children, for the racial and religious vilification they suffered at the hands of some of the occupants of the bus he was driving, and in particular, he regrets that he did not immediately confront those persons in an attempt to stop any further act of racial and religious vilification by some of the occupants of the bus. As a means of educating members of the Victoria Police who may be faced with a similar situation as Terry Moore was on the 14th of October 2006, he agrees to assist in the education of other members of Victoria Police as to how they should respond to situations involving racial and religious vilification. Thank you.
Victoria Police wishes to express its regret to Mr Vorchheimer and his children Yehuda and Sima Vorchheimer for the racial and religious vilification, the seizing of Mr Vorchheimer's yarmulke and Shabbat hat, and the physical assault of Mr Vorchheimer suffered by them at the hands of some of the occupants of the bus driven by Senior Constable Terence Moore on the 14th of October 2006. The presence of the two young children, Yehuda and Sima Vorchheimer, made the effect of this conduct even worse. Such conduct can only be described as disgraceful and should not be tolerated in our community against anyone, no matter what their race or religion. Victoria Police is of the view that Senior Constable Moore made an error of judgment and did not act in a positive manner to intervene at the earliest opportunity. Even though at the time of these events Senior Constable Moore was off duty, it is important to remember that police officers have an obligation at all times to fulfil their duties to the public. When confronted with a serious breach of the law, a police officer is never off duty. Victoria Police also acknowledges the concern at the time taken to investigate this matter, and that Mr Vorchheimer and his family have continued to suffer hurt. Whilst every investigation has its own complexities and challenges, we recognise and promote the importance of investigations such as the one in this incident being conducted expeditiously. We have endeavoured to achieve this. The lessons learnt from these events will benefit other members of the Victoria Police Force and hopefully the community at large. Senior Constable Moore has agreed to use his experience to assist the learning of other police officers on issues of prejudice and racism in our community. Victoria Police proposes that Senior Constable Moore's experience and that of Mr Vorchheimer and his family be incorporated into training utilised by Victoria Police in developing and training our staff. The Chief Commissioner proposes to issue a new instruction to all members of the Victoria Police to emphasise to them their obligations to uphold and enforce the rights of all people in Victoria, not to be subjected to unlawful discrimination on grounds such as race, religion, sexual preference or gender, and to act promptly and effectively on legitimate complaints made to them about such discrimination. Victoria Police will also continue to review its policies and training on matters concerning issues of prejudice and racism in our community. We hope that Mr Vorchheimer and the representatives of the Jewish community, as well as other religious and racial groups, will be involved in this process to help us ensure that these are appropriate and effective. In this way, some considerable good may come from this disturbing event.